In 1940, Batman's archenemy, Joker, made his debut in Batman #1 comic book. The Clown Prince of Crime has just turned 84, and in this video, we're going to take a look at his entire journey in comics and other media. Stay until the end of the video to learn about all the major versions created of this iconic character. Welcome to Comic Chronicles. Joker first appeared in the 1940 Batman #1 comic, created by Jerry Robinson, Bill Finger, and Bob Kane. The character was heavily inspired by the leading role in the 1928 film The Man Who Laughs, and his creation was so brilliant that his visual has been changed only a few times since his inception. In the 1950s, during the Silver Age, Joker's personality shifted to something lighter. Dick Sprang altered his appearance to the iconic color combination of purple, green, and orange, influencing other media like Cesar Romero's portrayal in Batman '66. In the 1970s, Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil brought Joker back to his origins as a sociopath. His look drew from the 1950s and 60s but with darker tones. It was during this period that Steve Englehart and Marshall Rogers crafted classic stories for the character, like in Detective Comics 475 and 476 with The Laughing Fish, later adapted into an episode of Batman, the animated series. Before we continue, if you're enjoying the video and want more content like this, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. You'll receive daily updates to stay informed about the world of superheroes. In the 1980s, Joker had several extremely impactful and disturbing moments in comics. Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns presented a more restrained version of Joker, with a completely different look from what we were used to, showing an older Joker. The white suit was unprecedented for the Clown Prince of Crime. 2 years after The Dark Knight Returns, in The Killing Joke, we were introduced to his most famous origin in comics, the failed comedian. Brian Bolland's art brought iconic moments to the character, like the famous panel that became the most recognizable image of Joker. This story is controversial, delving into his potential origin, iconic moments, and the traumatic encounter with Barbara Gordon. Shortly after, another standout moment was when Joker killed Robin. Jason Todd was Robin at the time, and there was a fan movement calling DC Comics to vote on Robin's survival. In the late 1980s, Grant Morrison penned Arkham Asylum, a serious house on Serious Earth, with visual art by Dave McKean that gave Joker surreal and inhuman traits. This comic served as inspiration for the renowned video game Batman: Arkham Asylum. Also in the late 1980s, Joker was portrayed by Jack Nicholson in Tim Burton's film starring Michael Keaton. Nicholson's rendition of Joker on screen was the most faithful to the comics. In 1992, we had what many consider the best version of the Clown Prince of Crime in Batman, the animated series. Modeling after Jack Nicholson's portrayal, the animated series Joker was the first exposure to the character for many. This was largely due to Mark Hamill's excellent voice acting, delivering a unique and extremely memorable performance.
Disgusting. I think I'll start using my toxin on cattle. Joker burgers! Ha! Talk about a happy meal!
With episodes inspired by famous 1970s comics. This Joker balanced being humorous and menacing, with colors reminiscent of the 1950s but with added shadows and expressions that often resembled the 1970s comic character.
Dear friends, today is the day the clown cried. And he cries not for the passing of one man, but for the death of a dream.
Unfortunately, the visual quality dropped in the show's final season. In the 2000s comic Hush, Jim Lee created a striking visual for the character, maintaining a dark tone despite using vibrant colors. In Gotham Central in 2003, written by Ed Brubaker and Greg Rucka with art by Michael Lark, Joker was portrayed realistically and disturbingly. 2004 introduced a new Batman animation, The Batman. This series featured a very different-looking Joker, nostalgically remembered by some today. In 2008, the Clown Prince of Crime returned to cinemas in The Dark Knight. Heath Ledger initially faced public backlash when cast for the role, but everything changed upon the film's release. Ledger's anarchic portrayal and unique visual influenced future comic adaptations, like Lee Bermejo Joker. Ledger's makeup-clad Joker, with non-white skin, departed from the character's most famous story of falling into a chemical vat. The following year, the game Batman: Arkham Asylum offered a new take on Joker. For many of the younger generations, This was their first exposure to Joker and Batman. Much like Batman, the animated series was for viewers in the 90s and 2000s. In the comics, during Batman, R.I.P., Grant Morrison allowed Tony Daniel to create his own version of the clown, markedly different from anything seen in comics before but short-lived. In the New 52 era, as Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo worked on the Batman Monthly, Joker's appearance shifted to a serial killer look with overalls, and even having his face removed. In the Endgame arc, he returned with his face restored, wearing a black suit with changed hair, somewhat influencing Jared Leto's Joker. In 2019, Joker premiered in theaters, directed by Todd Phillips and starring Joaquin Phoenix. This depiction was a departure from the comics, although heavily inspired by them. It portrayed a disturbed Joker, completely different from previous versions, with multiple layers that impacted the citizens of Gotham City with his actions. The film was a massive success, grossing over $1 billion for Warner Bros. In 2022, The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves and starring Robert Pattinson, introduced another new version of Joker. Despite many of his scenes being cut from the film, we must wait for his appearance in future Batman projects. This year, Joker returns to cinemas in October with Joker, Folie à Deux, bringing back Arthur Fleck played by Joaquin Phoenix and also featuring Harley Quinn played by Lady Gaga. Throughout these 84 years, the character has been portrayed in various ways, ensuring his continued relevance through the decades, much like Batman. Now, I want to know, what's your favorite Joker? Write your favorite version of the Clown Prince of Crime in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, and subscribe with notifications on to stay up to date on everything about Joker, DC, and Marvel. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video.